Oops. Well, hello there, everybody. It's Transformation Tuesday, July. It'll be July 8th, 2025. And let's take a deep breath in here. Yeah, and total appreciation that we can breathe, that we are breathing in this moment, in this time, 2025. And we have been coming every Tuesday since March of 2020 with different speakers coming in on topics that are so pertinent to right here, right now. Isn't
Wow,
it?
congratulations for creating and sustaining this space and more than just sustaining it, just electrifying this space. That's awesome.
Well, yeah, just like you, Kelley Glover.
That long.
Yeah. Well, so, and every month, every year we go, and every month I ask myself these questions like, what is a topic that's going on in our world right now, currently, and has been for a while, that really needs some perspective. People that I know who are living it,
Hmm.
dreaming it. Yeah,
Hmm.
and that would be you, Kelley Glover. But so the topic for July 2025 is this or something better still,
Hmm.
which is what the end of the vision we kind of write that like,
Yes.
okay, yeah, I
This is
really
something
love
great.
this, but we
Yes.
give it up to the infinite, like, okay. And then also this book called In Tune with the Infinite. And
Ooh, write
it's,
this down. In tune with
oh,
the
yeah,
infinite.
In Tune
Okay.
with the Infinite. It's an old book. And what it is, it's the more we're in tune with that infinite side of our nature, allowing, and creative, the more I would say delight and surprise. But even in times like we're going through right now, and for everybody out here, yes, Kelley and I do live in Central Texas, and there there's been a lot of tragedy in the last couple of days, and a lot of lives lost from the flood, and emergency people are here right as we speak right now. And this, what I feel, is so important to put a blessing on everyone. And so appreciate all the help and prayers that have been coming here. So I want to tell you guys, Kelley, I'm going to read your bio. And forgive me if I butcher some of these words.
Okay.
Okay. this is this is my super friend for many, many years and colleague, Dr. Kelley Glover. When I first met you, you were Kelly Phillips. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
We've sang together in the celebration singers in I just remember you so much because you encouraged me, because I could not figure out why I was up there singing with you guys. But you kept saying, you better sing, the whole encouragement that you've given me over the years. So let me read this bio. You have 25 plus years of experience in culturally relevant pedagogy, music education, and early career teacher mentoring, which is so really needed right now, too. Kelley holds a Ph.D. in educational and community leadership from Texas State University, a Master of Arts from the Eastman School of Music, and a Bachelor of Music Education from Howard University. Now, Kelley's research interests focus on understanding how engaging in somatic abolitionist practices, and I'm going to have you explain that, can promote greater emotional resilience and cultural well-being for all bodies when navigating policies and systems that negatively affect marginalized community. Whew, right? Now, Dr.
Yes.
Glover, I love it. This is where I knew you before. Dr. Glover is a creator of an ear training cartoon and music game app called You Better Sing, featured on the PBS show Blackademics, where she discussed how culturally hegemonic practices affect music education and students from vulnerable and underserved communities. Kelley's dedicated and passionate about encouraging educators to better understand themselves as emotional and cultural beings so that we can better connect with the communities we serve using a critical awareness of the systems we navigate. Bam. Isn't that great? So come on in here, tell us a little about yourself and how you grew up at Howard University and everything like that, and then possibly a little bit about why and your manifestation and visioning. So come on in.
Okay. Well, I am from originally, and will explain why I say originally come from a family of six, my mom and dad, and me and my three siblings. I'm the youngest, born in Michigan. And my dad was a community college president. So we moved like every 3 years. So I've lived in the Pacific Northwest, the Midwest, the Southeast. And my dad and my mom, but especially my mom, raised me to be spiritual and not religious. And my father was always he was a community activist, and he always believed in creating opportunities for people from marginalized backgrounds, um, whether it's because of their color, their race, ethnicity, socioeconomic background, trying to create opportunities to try to equal the playing field. And so that was instilled in me. And seeing the truth in all religions was the way I was raised. And so I grew up just being immersed in what people now call like critical theory, like critical race theory and things like that. But it didn't have a name back then. But it was just looking at how how did things how have things come to be the way they are in education and in health? How did some of these disparities come about? And what can we do to create equality for everybody? Not just people of color, but for everybody. That's just it's just how I was raised. Um, and I got interested in music because when I was a little girl, I used to stutter, and it also took me a long time to say something. And so my mom put me in theater, and the arts is what helped me to express myself. Being the youngest out of a family of four, I felt very invisible. And so whenever anyone paid attention to me, I didn't know how to handle it. It's like my mind would be going 50 billion miles per hour, and I couldn't get the words out. And so the arts it helped to give me a voice. And I'm going to fast forward to when I got into this PhD program. I knew that there was a connection between spirituality and how your thoughts affect your mind and your body, and and the power of the arts, especially when it comes to navigating emotions and what it can do for your central nervous system, and also how racism and sexism, all of those isms, how they can dismember people, and not just people of color, not just women, but it affects everybody. If one person is dismembered, everybody's dismembered. How do all those things affect people? And so I discovered something called somatics when I was going to Texas State, and embodied ways of learning. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like the arts. And then my dissertation chair introduced me. She used to be a counselor, and she's also a very spiritual person. In fact, she had visited our church, um, but she lived way south, so she didn't go back. But she said, I love the concepts of your church. So I'm a very spiritual person, so we really connected. And so she helped me to connect some dots. Um, and she introduced me to something called cultural somatics, where the person who coined this the current coined this term, Resma Menakem. Um, he is a psychologist who gives people toys of liberation, or somatic toys of liberation, to help you deal with um, the unpleasant history of not just this country, but unpleasant histories around the world. When you're unpacking different ways that human beings have dismembered each other, he has these somatic abolitionist toys of liberation to help calm your central nervous system when you're learning about unpleasant things, so that you're not saying, oh, we're not going to talk about that. That makes me feel uncomfortable. And one of the ways that he says you can do that is through humming, because it's good for the vagus nerve, drumming,
Humming and drumming.
swaying, because of what it does for your body. All of these things help to calm down the central nervous system. And so I'm like, this is amazing. I said, this is basically what music teachers do all the time. And I was like, is that why my students never really freaked out when I was teaching them about the history of the different drums, and how different forms of music from the African American experience and the Afro Latino experience, and um, the Celtic experience, like places where people's voices were silenced because of um, Christianity being like drilled in, like you can't do this anymore. It's considered pagan. And then they tried to silence your voice, or you can't do this anymore because this represents where you came from. And so you couldn't drum anymore, or you couldn't dance anymore, like they did indigenous people. But all of those things, like what Celtic people did, and indigenous people did, all of these are like somatic tools that come from all of these cultures that were erased, that were taken away from us. But so these somatic abolitionism reminds us of what our ancestors used to do to calm their central nervous systems. And so um, I started doing drumming circles, um, teaching music history, not just the fun parts, but the dismembering parts, and how we use music to remember wholeness. And so engaging in music that way really helps people to it helps to open their minds, calms their central nervous systems. It connects people. And so I do like um I just do that kind of work now. Where I work, I do drumming circles, because it's just good for us to connect. It helps with anxiety, um, and it helps you to unpack things that don't feel good, and it helps you to go from not feeling good about things to, okay, I can handle this, and it helps to build your emotional resilience muscles, as Resma Menakem says. So
Wow.
that's it in a nutshell. So that's what somatic abolitionism is. So to me, it married everything that we learned at the New Thought churches about how your emotions affect your bodies. And when I was going to Texas State, we were talking about body mapping, and where, um, you hold different emotions in your body, and how do you metabolize that out of yourself? And the arts plays a huge role in that. So it was a way for me to be an academic, being a spiritual person, and a musician. It like brings it all together.
Wow. How cool is that? I just remember like you and all your drums. It's like, how cool is that? And and you've come such a long way. And I want to touch back in when we were visioning, because that's kind of the in tune with the infinite, and that's what I remember. And that one day, or probably multiple days, and I know Sharonda had a lot to do with it too, where you were in you where you were stuck, or you were in a and can you tell us a little bit about that, and how manifestation and visioning, I mean, it's almost like when I'm watching you, how your, I don't want to say ancestors, but maybe that is the word, manifested you at this time in 2025, and you are a manifestation of everything that they believed, right? Amen. Right? Amen, sister.
Yeah. Yeah.
and and I'm like, oh, now
Oh
you're
my
the
gosh.
twinkle in your mother's eye, because you are here at this time to take your work in the world, and you are not backing away from it, girl. So tell us
Yes.
a bit about that journey, because I mean, we've been on some journeys, let's just say that.
Well, the first time I had a visioning exercise, it was when Sharonda Robinson, when she was toying with the idea of becoming a coach, a life coach, and I was like a guinea pig. Like she was just trying stuff out, and she had me write out what my perfect day would look like 5 years from now. And I realized at that point that I'm like, man, I feel like I'm stuck. I feel like I can't do anything other than do music. Fast forward to a few years later, I attended one of your workshops
Right,
when
right.
you became a life mastery coach. And we did the same exercise, except you added another dimension to it where we did this 5 year visioning. But then you had us partner up with someone, and you were my partner. And I believe you had us turn around. We did, how many times did we,
Yeah, you turned around, and then we're like, "Whoa, we haven't seen you in a."
right, we haven't seen each other in like 5 years. It's like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen you in 5 years. But tell me what's going on in your life. And at that time, I said, oh my gosh, I have this amazing music education business. And I was saying everything that I wanted to happen. And one of the things I want to happen, I said, I have these amazing products, and they're healing, and they end up in classrooms in Africa and blah, 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 blah. And I'm doing all this stuff. And I'm just, because you said the sky's the limit. Don't put any limits on it. You are pre-intending. You're pretending, but you are pre-intending your life, right? And it actually happened. I actually had products that ended up in classroom in Nigeria. I never thought. I mean, when I said that, I'm like, yeah, this is probably never going to happen. But she said, go for it. Just imagine. Just do it. And so many of the things that I wrote down happened. So I'm like, there really is something to this. And so I vision boarded, but to me, this has been a more powerful um, experience. Writing out every detail of your perfect day 5 years from now, what where you are living in on each moment of your day, writing it out, and then sharing it with someone, witnessing it, reading it out loud to someone else. And
We
this
like to
is how I
say,
landed my current job. Yes.
you think it, you ink it, you speak it, and yeah, we're in alignment with the infinite, as well as other human beings, because
Yeah.
we're living on this human planet as well as the infinite. So yeah, keep going, and you, not only that have you manifested, you manifested, Frank Lover,
Yeah.
you were, and on, but keep going on, and tell us, because that's ancient history. What was that 15 years ago or something, like 10. So tell me
Yeah.
more. That got your attention.
So fast forward to February of 2025. So I'm on the board for the Girls School of Austin, and I did get a job. So after graduating, I was able to land a job at the University of Texas at Austin, but it was a part-time hourly job. But I'm like, hey, at least it's a foot in the door, right? But it was not. It's a cool job. It's great, but it just didn't resonate with me, and I knew I was not that this was not it. So I kept applying for jobs. And one day when I was in a meeting with the head of schools at the Girls School of Austin, she was talking about how she has this vision of the school, but she's not quite sure what how things would play out. Like she wasn't sure if she needed a director of operations or if she needed an assistant head of schools. And she said, I was even thinking maybe you could be the assistant head of schools. And I'm like, oh, maybe this is my full-time job. But it didn't feel like it, but I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna stay open. So after our meeting, I wrote to her and I said, I'm going to give you an assignment to do a 5-year visioning of what you want the school to look like, what you want your life to look like, what you want the school to be for the parents, for the students, and for the community that you all serve. And so I gave her this assignment. I wrote down as much as I remembered, and I sent it to her. And she said, "Oh my gosh, I did something like this. It's very similar to this 6 months before I landed this job. And I feel like that's what helped me to get this job." So I sent it to her, and I'm like, I need to do this for myself because it was taking me forever to find something that really resonated with me. Because as I said, my current position wasn't it. So I did it for myself. And I wrote down some very specific things that I was working for an organization that serves the community, um, that is a very small organization, um, very few employees, but it's really impactful. We do this great community work, and I'm on the research, like the research and community side of things. And we do focus groups, and it helps to inform ways that to strengthen community partnerships. And I said it was a STEAM organization. Um, and I said that the building is on a green belt. And I have this beautiful office with these square windows that overlook this green belt. And I was even specific to say we even have a kitchen because I love food. I said we even have a kitchen in our office suite. And when I come into the office, sometimes I smell good food cooking. And you get off the elevator. We're such a small organization. We don't have like a formal receptionist. So it's just a very free, just a loving place. And I'm with like-minded people that have the same sense of humor as me. We love our jobs. And the kitchen also overlooks the green belt. And I'm writing down all these really specific things, like exactly what the office looks like. And 2 months later, I get tapped for the only interview. I submitted so many applications, so many applications. This particular job, I kept coming across it, but I didn't think that they would interview me because it was a job at a mental health organization. And I was thinking, okay, you had to have a counseling background or something. But it said all you have to do is have a passion for mental health, emotional well-being, and the intersection of how how racism impacts the body. And that is a huge thing about what my dissertation was about. I kept coming across it, but I kept saying, no, they would never hire me. So finally, the third time I saw it, I'm like, okay, I'm going to apply. So I get called to do the interview. And the person who emailed me was named Crystal, and that's my sister's name. And the person I was going to be interviewing with was named Dr. Martinez. And I worked for 4.5 years for, no, yeah, for 4 years for a professor named Dr. Martinez. So I'm like, okay, another Dr. Martinez and another Crystal. So when I told my sister Crystal that, she's like, girl, this job is yours. So the interview, I look up to see where the interview is taking place. I have no idea where the Hogg Foundation for Mental Health is. I look, and it is on a green belt. I'm like, okay. So I go to the interview. The the new Dr. Martinez takes me back to his office. As we were passing his office, there's a kitchen in the middle of the office that overlooks the green belt. I'm like, I'm like, okay, if I get this job and I step into his office and he has windows all around his office, I'm like, my gosh, this is just like what I envisioned. Look at his office. He has this beautiful view of a green belt. But I'm thinking in my head, oh, well, he's the executive director. He's the only person who's going to have this beautiful view for an office. He ended up, we clicked so much. My interview lasted, it was supposed to be 45 minutes. It lasted close to an hour and a half. We totally clicked. I mean, it's just like everything just fell into place. He offers me the job on the spot.
Oh,
I'm shocked because I mean, I did mental health, emotional health, and well-being. I did a study when I was working my principal certification, and I always, um, when I was teaching the public schools, um, the last few years of teaching, I always dedicated Fridays to emotional health and well-being. So I became like really immersed in that. And so I just didn't think that that would be enough to land this job, but it just seemed so natural. So when I ended up taking a tour before I started my job, the lady Krista who emailed me is showing me around and everything. And the last stop is my office. She opens the door, and what's there? But just like in my visioning, two, well, it wasn't square windows, it's two rectangular windows overlooking. Not only does it overlook the greenbelt, there's this huge, majestic tree. I call it a warlock tree. It is the most amazing looking tree right outside. And there's this formation in the branches that looks like a heart. I took a picture of it and I outlined it. That's right in front of my office. I'm like, okay, this was so meant to be, and it's such a natural fit. Everybody says, Kelley, I feel like you've been here the entire time. People are like, we want you to stay because it's a 2-year assignment, but it looks like I may end up staying at, God willing, if this is where I'm supposed to be, but it feels like it. This may end up being my permanent home. But I'm gonna tell you, I'm enjoying every single moment. I look forward every day. I say, ooh, I get to go to work tomorrow. When we were on vacation this past week, I said, I can't wait to go back to work on Monday. I mean, I love my job. I love my coworkers. We all have the same kind of offbeat, geeky, slightly dark, quirky senses of humor. I don't offend anybody with my quirky sense of humor because we all have that kind of quirkiness. It is so, it's so cool. And I love the work that we do, especially now with Medicaid being cut. Well, it was, we, Texas already didn't have Medicaid for adults, but more than ever. So our work is even more important in giving money to rural communities and organizations that need to support people's emotional well-being. So I feel I feel like we're doing a lot of good in the world, serving the community, and that's it's exactly what I asked for. And then I get to bring in the arts piece. Um, and they really appreciate it, like the way I'm connecting the dots of how we can add the arts to some of our projects. They were like, oh my gosh, we never thought of this. And so it kind of brings in the STEAM part that I had in my visioning. But they totally love my arts part. in my previous position, they weren't feeling it at all. But this place, they want it. They ask for it. They understand how the arts plays a role in emotional well-being. It's like,
Oh.
yeah, I'm so happy.
I could just like I just feeling the energy of your mom and dad like going, you go Kelley. I know. And we've lived through so much of that with them, you know, and in their passion, and there's you. And what I'm imagining is this is just the beginning, Kelley.
I agree.
This is just the beginning, not only for you, but for all of the, oh my gosh, I'm thinking about especially what's going on right here, right now in Texas. But you know, it's all ripple effect. But you're at the cutting edge of all that. And oh, this is really so grateful to talk to you about this. Well, I was going to ask you about a whole bunch of other things, but that just, you know, that's the icing on the cake because we are here in 2025. We are here right now where there's people that recognize that arts, the music, the somatic, the movement, and the healing, acceptance.
Yes. Acceptance of the dark so that you can create from that darkness something beautiful. But you cannot get through life only living in the light. You have to be able to navigate the dark and move through it instead of resisting it. And I want to help us to be able to do that, to not be so afraid of the dark. Darkness is necessary. The times that we're going through, we're going to get through the other side, but you can't be in the light all the time. That's not how you grow. When you think about nature, you have to have night. You have to have darkness in order to grow.
Yeah, tell me more. Because we're talking about manifestation. And if we're always, you know, we're coming from a vision. And in the face of the tragedies, in the face of here, and it's not, as one of my mentors says, it's not a spiritual bypass.
Right. Oh, yes. No spiritual bypassing. Come on now. Yes.
Yeah, tell me more about when I said that. That's like, okay, yeah, there you go. Let's do like about a minute or two about that. And I have another question for you. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that so many of our health problems, and I'm one of them. I overeat. I use food to numb away emotions that I don't want to feel. Um, but then it always ends up catching up with you if you don't grieve, if you don't move past horrific things that have happened and you internalize them and store them in your body. If you don't deal with them, it's going to deal with you. Um, you can take those dark moments and instead of demonizing it, realize that it's a part of life here to help us to grow, expand, and connect to other people. And that connection with other people is so important because it helps us to heal when we connect with others. When I think about, I just heard something about how trees, like if a tree is dying, how they use their roots, their connection with each other helps to help that tree that's dying. That connection is so important, even during really really hard times, um, like what we're going through with the floods. How communities are coming together from all over to help during this hard time, and everything that we're going through politically in this country. Um, these are really dark times, but I look at it this way. In order to evolve to the next level, we have to go through these dark times because out of darkness comes creation. That's how the universe emerges from darkness. that when they study the universe, everything emerges from the darkness. So it may not feel good, but I know that we are going to emerge from this vibrating even higher as a human, as a human race, as sentient beings, period.
Oh,
So,
especially with leaders like you. It's the leadership, right? The strong, committed, passionate leadership. So here's my final question. Thank you so much for this. It's perfect. Okay, so I love to ask this question. So you're driving down the highway. Oh, I think I know exactly where you are. It's the Hog Foundation is in. I think it's like up that. Is it up kind of Cuernavaca Road, up kind of in there, tucked in there? I'm gonna find it because I love the green belt. That's where I lived for many years, right off that. But anyway, so you're driving down that highway. I think it's 360. It doesn't really matter. Oh no, there's no billboards, but a highway
it's off of
clear.
Mopac. It's off of Mopac.
Oh wow, there are so many areas I don't know anymore because there's so much cool stuff going on. Oh, anyway, so you're driving down and there's a billboard up there, right? And your picture is on it. And thousands of cars are going by there every day with people, kids, families like zipping by and there's your picture up there with a message, a short message where when they see it, they will know whatever it is they're supposed to be known in that moment. What is the message that you would have on your billboard?
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, I saw that in the last interview. I totally forgot you asked her that question. I loved her answer too. Oh man. Oh man. Okay. Ooh, what do I want it to say? I wanted to say, we are here to remember our wholeness and re-dash member our wholeness.
Let's take a deep breath in, and we're imagining the billboard with Kelley Glover up there, Dr. Kelley Glover. Say it one more time, Kelley.
We are here to remember our wholeness.
I love it. Let's do it, everybody, with our hands. I love it. Show us that again.
We are here to remember our wholeness.
Whoa. And so it is.
And so we let it be. This or something even greater. Amen. Amen. Hotep. Ashe.
We got this, Kelley. Thank you so much for taking the time out to uplift us, to shift and uplift us. And that's just amazing. Thank you so much for
And
being
thank you for being a rememberer.
my pleasure. And yeah, thank you so much. And this Transformation Tuesday for July 2025. Amen.
Amen.